Hi guys, I hope you'll enjoy our soulful coffee date with C, the founder and owner of Pole Dance Movement Studio, which is situated in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, where I was so lucky to teach and even perform during their showcase at the end of the term. It was an amazing experience. She shares a lot about her personal pole dance journey, the struggles which she had on the way, and maybe she has some difficulties still. Let's find out.
Do I give names?
Can someone actually piss you off? Like, can someone make you really angry?
It's not so much like, oh my gosh, anymore. So I really love to take my time. They can't do it yet. And yeah, actually for my birthday party, we had like a pole jam here and just like try to encourage people to freestyle. Cheers!
Such nice tea, really. Thank you.
Anytime. Yeah, I actually, I'm quite like a hermit, to be honest. Like most of my time I'm here or I'm at the studio or I'm in the jungle. Like, there's only 3 places that I go.
So now I know where to find you. Something.
Yeah.
Okay, see, I'm so honored to speak with such an experienced person.
Thank you.
In opening and having your own pole dance space. So let's imagine that there is someone, a pole dance addict behind the screen who really wants to open his or her own space. Like, what advice would you give to this person?
I would say like it is a long and challenging journey for sure. Like every day you're going to have, you can't really plan for any of it. Like, I mean, yes, you should plan, but the challenges that will come your way is just like so random and so diverse in like business, in like legal stuff, in dance, in people management, in all sorts of fields. Events management, so it's really like just be prepared to like have a lot of stamina to keep going for what you want. Be prepared to learn along the way, and most importantly I would say is like be really grounded in your whys, like why you want to open your own studio in the first place. Like it is going to take away time from your own dancing, your own training, definitely. So I think maybe that might be a misconception that some people have, like I will open my own studio so I can always dance for my work, but at the same time it's gonna be a whole nother job to manage a studio as well. So yeah, be prepared for that, to learn how to juggle the fact that your business and your pleasure, your passion is going to be the same thing, and learn how to manage that, manage your time, and make sure that your work doesn't take away from your passion at the same time. So I would say my whys are really for the community, to build that, to give back to people, you know, what pole has given me, like that people can discover that for themselves and what it means to them as an individual, for my team, my teachers to be able to do what they love as well. And I think that is my whys. Yeah.
Thank you. It's very smart and so thoughtful, you know, from all the experience you have already. I'm sure you had a lot of struggles. Yep. And by the way, did you start everything by yourself, or you already had someone like another teacher or a friend who was like, who had your back somehow?
Yeah, I There was actually, I did have a friend that we were planning to do it together. So she's a lawyer, and I thought we could work really well together. Like maybe she would do more of the like business and administrative side, and I would do more of the dancing and creative side. But I think right at the very, we decided on the name together, and we decided on the location together. And then right after that, she was like, I actually want to travel. I don't want to be committed to this. So yeah, that was a turning point that I had to decide to like, okay, I'm going to do it on my own. So the rest of the way was just me. And I already had two of my students that were ready to become instructors as well. So they came with me at the same time, Jack and Cass. Yeah. So with them as my instructors, that's how I started. Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah. And I would say there's definitely pros and cons of doing everything yourself. I think now I'm learning how to delegate and how to work with a team and not do everything myself. But definitely for a start, as an entrepreneur, you're going to have to do like 99% of the things by yourself and make a lot of decisions. And you don't really you don't necessarily already have people to ask for advice, because I found like if I ask like a business person for advice, it's a very different business model, I would say, to open a pole studio, and it's a lot more I guess how I do things is a lot more like from the heart, rather than like, okay, how do I make as much money as I can. I think my approach is a lot more like how can I value add to the people that come as much as I can, and value add to my instructors as much as I can. I think it's a very, very different business model than a traditional business, I would say.
Yeah, it is. But it seems like with such approach, money comes then. I mean, you put your heart, you put your soul into it, and somehow the world responds to it and gives you all necessary resources you need. Yeah. And it seems like you are still doing lots of things. I actually saw C mopping the floor before the class by herself. It's like a hi to your old self, right? Sometimes you do that.
Yeah, I think I'm still getting better at delegating, and I think I think like it's to do with the size of the studio as well. I'm not sure if this will be useful to people watching yet, but definitely as I delegate more and more of the roles that I have taken on just by myself, slowly I begin to realize that the capacity of the studio is not enough as well. So I will need like actually a bigger studio to be able to completely delegate everything and pay people well and pay myself as well. So
which is really important.
It is really important.
Really important. Yeah. So you actually have a point in your budget like my salary.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yes.
That's great. You know, I barely really see such a thing. That's
really
cool.
Oh,
that's
wow.
really cool.
No, yeah, that's important for sure.
I was actually lucky to travel Asia for some time, and it's nice to see how much the pole dance community is growing now. Yeah, so it's like we are actually on the base of the pyramid, or not of the pyramid, of a skyscraper. Yep. Of pole dance community. So how do you feel about it here in Malaysia, and especially in Kuala Lumpur?
I feel like it's quite exciting to be a part of it at the moment, because it's really starting to take off, I would say. Like in the last 2 years, I think there's 3 or 4 studios opening in town, and people are more receptive to it now. Like a lot, like I would say like most people in the city know what pole dancing actually is. Slowly pole dancing are appearing on magazines, like it's it's being accepted as like, you know, it's like people do pole dancing, and the response is not so much like oh my gosh anymore. So slowly it's taking off. The community is young but it's growing, and it's really fun to be a part of it at this stage. Yeah. Just so happened the universe was like, okay, here you go. You have a chance to teach, and I think teaching really gave me that opportunity to like keep practicing how to choreograph, and also like, okay, I have a space now that I can train finally after all that, you know. Before that I was just like training in the playground. It's like, okay, monkey bars, like try and learn how to do a flag on the pole. So finally I have a space, like okay, now I feel like at that time when I started teaching, because I only had official training for about 6 months, so I felt like such a baby pole dancer. So I was like, okay, I have to catch up, I have to like work hard on my own. Yeah.
And you did, really. Was it actually hard to open your own space? And could you tell us your story of opening pole dance movement? How did it happen?
It was a lot of DIY. It was a lot of like trying to make the best out of a small budget. Yeah, it was a lot of learning as well. Like, okay, I can't do everything myself. I had to like learn how to ask for help from some friends. I had to learn about like flooring, about lighting. I had to learn how to speak to a contractor, even.
Yeah, that's really important.
I think it's definitely a lot of learning as we go, and even until now, I feel like there's still like new challenges every day, and still learning as I go. But I think I would say any entrepreneur, like you probably have that when you open your own studio as well. So like you won't know what you don't know until it's there and a problem.
Exactly, yeah. And you need to solve it.
Yeah. And then you figure it out, I guess. Which I guess it's kind of fun. It's like a good challenge for your brain.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And I think if you knew in advance how many obstacles you're going to have,
it's such a good way to spend time, just to drink tea and have conversations.
Yep, can't agree more. And it's so nice that today is Monday, yeah, and we can do that. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Actually, yesterday was the last day of the term class, yeah, of the previous one. Share your vision of it. How was it? Did you like the night? Like, who impressed you? How were your students?
Let me see. Who impressed me the most? I think like, do I give names or like?
Yeah, why not? It would be lovely if some of the girls, you know, could watch the video on YouTube and
actually
find out.
I think, oh man, no favoritism. Yeah, actually one of my pole babies, Kelly, yeah, she's been training under a different instructor now, like mostly Jack, but she's been improving so much lately. I think like recently I gave her some feedback on like her upper back control as well, and like this term, I mean last night she showed so much improvement in her engagement and her strength because of that, like because she's using the correct muscles now versus
so
here
nice.
she's using like all these muscles. Yeah, so she's improved so much. Like yes, like last night her lines, musicality, technique, it's all, yeah, I was so impressed. And she did 4 performances, which is like more than a lot of people would have done in one night, and I think she nailed everything. Yeah, so it's just like, wow, this girl is,
That's impressive.
She's really improving so much, which is really cool. And yeah, I think some of my pole 3 girls as well, like like I I don't know. I feel like everyone progresses at their own pace. So actually one of the girls in pole 3, like she took a break for a while and she came back and she joined quite a challenging term, and she wasn't sure if she would be able to complete the routine, but she performed anyway, and I was really proud of her for doing that, and I think she did a really good job. And even another one of my girls, like I think she was feeling a little bit tired of the challenge of pole 3, so she took a break and she did one of the low flow classes, and I think that's a really good thing as well. Like there's no one thing that will make me feel like proud of someone in a way. It's like everyone's on their own journey. So like even though, you know, she stopped like the more advanced class for a while, I feel proud of her for like listening to her body, slowing down, you know, working on the basics again. I think
That's so nice.
there's a lot of ways to grow, you know.
So nice, and I can tell from your eyes that you are still passionate about teaching. Yep. So do you still give classes?
Yeah, I do love teaching. I think we were talking about like my childhood experience with my teacher, and like I really love to show people like it's not like they can't do it, but they can't do it yet, and this is like, you know, these are the steps how to get there, and your body is capable, and like building that relationship with their bodies. I think that's so empowering. So I just love to teach, and I find
That's
it's like
great.
quite a creative process as well. Like there's no one way to teach that is going to work for all your students. So it's like up to your creativity how you want to share your knowledge, really. And it's so much fun.
That's great.
And then you see the light bulb moment in your students, and you're like, yes, I did a good job, you know. Yeah. So I still teach less this term. I think it goes up and down depending on my team. Like I will give them more classes if they can, if they want it, and I'm always like on standby if they can't take it. So yeah, I'm like the backup plan. But somewhere in between like 3 classes a week to like, I think my maximum was like 16 or 17 classes a week. I don't really think I would want to teach that much regularly. I prefer to spend more time to preparing one class, and I always want to have energy for myself as well to work on my own training, because I feel like if I don't have time to work on my own stuff, I won't have the inspiration to teach either, because it's just like there's output but there's no input, you know. So I try and find that like balance between like learning for myself as well. So when I first started pole, I was more interested in contemporary style and I guess circus style pole dancing, like this very trick-based or and flow barefoot mostly. And then my boss was like, hey, why not you try dancing heels, and maybe it'll attract more people to class. And so I did. I started like watching online, like from Daria Che and from Ashley Jimpa, and just like figuring it out on my own, really. And then Doris Arnold came to town, and I actually took one of her workshops. I didn't think it would be my style at first, but it was called Pole Like a Stripper, and yeah, so I was like, you know, why not just go and try and learn something. And during her workshop, I was just amazed. Like, I just thought it was the most beautiful artistic thing. I feel like I'm not expressing this as well as I was just now. But yeah.
But so it was your first experience of like dancing wearing heels, feeling
in
like
a more
you are
sensual
a lady, yeah, in a sensual way.
Yeah, I guess before that I tried to dance with heels on my own, but I was more interested in flow and like maybe like shoulder stance. So that was really the first time the aim of dancing was to express sensuality. And in that moment, I realized like what is more artistic than expressing something so intrinsic to life, intrinsic to like basic human emotions, as expressing sensuality. Because if you think about the most basic life form, like even like amoeba or bacteria, and all that they can do is eat shit and reproduce, so
I can tell that you're a veterinarian.
Yeah. So yeah, that's when I realized like it's not only it's so difficult, but it's so beautiful. Like this is like such a beautiful form of art to dance in a sensual way, and to have that amount of confidence, connection with your audience, and it requires you to know your body so deeply as well, because something that looks sexy on a different person's body type is not something that will look good on me at all. So it requires a lot of, I guess, like self-exploration and knowing who you are and knowing what sensuality looks like in your body. Yeah, so it's really a lifelong exploration in a way.
That's true.
Yeah.
Such a journey. So from this workshop, you started actually dancing wearing heels, yeah, exploring by yourself, or just going to other different workshops. So what was your...
A lot of my journey honestly was self-taught, because I trained in Singapore for about half a year, and that's when I moved to Malaysia. And I think it was like half a year into my teaching journey here, that's when I had a chance to learn from Doris Arnold. And so as I was teaching, I would train for myself as well, and I would always watch Instagram and like I'll try this trick, that trick, I'll fail a million times, and I'll learn it that way. And yeah, I only had like maybe one workshop a year, and I learned from other people. But other than that, like I think at that time the other studios in town, they were very closed off, and it's like you're an instructor in another studio, you can't come here anymore. So that was how the culture was back then. Nowadays it's a lot better, but yeah, so I would say like a lot of it was just exploring by myself, and I think that taught me a lot as well. It's like I have to be mindful, I have to like study and understand the technique. It's almost like the physics of how is this happening. Yeah.
Exactly. I think that's how you actually teach yourself this body awareness, and also you become a better teacher, because first of all you teach yourself how to do that, right?
Yeah.
And then you can use the same technique to teach others.
Yeah.
And I think that's how you develop your own style as well. Like you pick something from here and there, you take, but in a smart way, and you transform it, and it becomes yours. And yep, and now you have your style. And I definitely believe that.
Oh wow.
The way you move, that your flow is mesmerizing, is so much different from what I've seen. And yeah, I really mean that.
Thank you. Yeah.
See,
Yes.
do you have any specific rituals maybe to recharge, like how you keep yourself together, how you keep yourself happy to actually give high quality classes for your students?
Okay. Yeah, I feel like there's maybe two parts to the question. I think the first part is whether this is the optimum amount for me. I feel like I could teach a little bit more, and that would be like my ideal. But it also depends on like how much energy I have to pour in for each class, like in the preparation. Definitely, I think there are classes that I can prepare a lot faster, and some classes I really like to like take my time to create the choreo. I think choreography classes take me a little bit longer because I really like to like play with the musicality. But how
That's
I
really
recharge, I think like taking other people's classes, like taking your flexi flow classes this term was like so much fun. Like doing making time for my own training, I think is super important for me, because it really changes like the energy I bring to a class. Like if I haven't been able to work on my own training, I feel so like there's nothing left to give. So definitely I need to make time for just time to play as well, like roll around with the pole just for fun and not for like a deadline. I like to do my own stretching, my own conditioning workouts as well. I think that keeps my body balanced. Like with all the stress that I put my body through, I really need that at least like once a week for myself. And I definitely believe like in having other hobbies as well as I think it's important for creative people to have time to be bored.
That's for
Like
sure.
boredom time, like at least a little bit of boredom time for each week. So I can't imagine like how some people teach like 20 something to 30 classes in a week. Like I can't see that happening for myself.
I think everyone has her own capacity of classes per week. Maybe some people, when they are only at the beginning of their professional journey, they can have like 16, 20, 25 classes per week. But I think it can easily lead to burnout. Have you ever experienced something like that?
Definitely.
How did it feel?
I'm a master of burnout.
Oh, okay. Tell me more.
I think it's tricky when your passion is also your work, and it's so easy for you to overdo, I think, because it's like not only you have to, but also you want to, and you want to pour your whole heart into a single class. It's not just like it's good enough, but it's like you want to make it like the best. Like it's almost like every week you want to create a new piece of art for your students, and that's a lot, multiple times a week. So
it is.
I think I'm very familiar with burnout. Now I know how to recognize, like, okay, I'm going to cannot soon. So I need to slow down. I need to take more time out for myself. I need to spend time speaking of rituals to recharge, maybe spend time doing some gardening, spend time having a conversation with some friends, or going to nature, going for a walk. I like to cook as well. Sometimes I like cooking.
That's nice. What's your favorite dish to cook? Or maybe to eat as well?
Every time I cook, it's something different. I can't cook the same thing twice.
Oh wow, that's
it's
that's
just
so
like
cool.
whatever happens.
Okay.
I guess that's the way I do a lot of things.
No. From outside, it feels like everything is structured.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah, it's quite interesting. It's quite interesting because I have to have like my creative mind in terms of dance, and I also have to be like the complete opposite of like structure when it comes to business to make everything run smoothly, and then structure when I build my team as well. So it's very interesting to
So you need to really balance.
It's a good challenge. Like I love how having these two roles, like it works my brain to the maximum and it works my body to the maximum. And I have to explore like being really, really structured as well as really, really fluid. And yeah, it's a very interesting job to have, I would say.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's amazing that you you really see that there is such an interesting, point in this. And most of the people, like when they open their own space and they start their own business, even tiny one, they need to delegate and they need to be able to manage people. And some young businessmen, they don't have these abilities. Like they love dancing, for example. You already mentioned that there is this misconception. Yeah, I love dancing. Okay, I'm going to open a studio and have fun and like make everyone happy. But yep, there is another side of it. Yep. Do you find it's difficult for you to manage people? Can someone actually piss you off? Like, can someone make you really angry?
Yeah, for sure. I think like it was definitely a big learning curve for me, coming from like, I just like to dance, to like, oh wow, I have to manage like staff, like a team, studio maintenance. Yeah, so also be prepared to like do everything from like mopping the floors to like planning for the next planning for a whole year in advance on all the timings and yeah, I think I mean, I don't think it should put anyone off, because I think there is so much like valuable life lessons that you are forced to learn as well along the way. Like not only like how to talk to people, how to have structure if you're like me and you came from zero structure, how to be responsible, how to manage your time, how to work effectively at this stage, how to not burn out as well.
I can imagine. Yeah. Do you have any like plans how to even expand it more, make it bigger, or it's like growing by itself already? So
I think it's definitely growing by itself. I'm not sure if this is like presumptuous or something of me to say, but like I feel like what we are doing at my studio, we are always trying to like push the community further as well. So last year we organized a competition that is Malaysian wide, to encourage people to, I think, to start people to think like, oh, maybe I could compete, even just to have an event like that. I think like hopefully I'm hoping that it unlocks their minds, like it's not just something that other people do, but maybe I could do it too. And slowly I'm pushing myself to compete, I'm pushing my team members to compete.
That's nice.
Like
That's
always
nice.
trying to brainwash them, if you will, like, hey, how about this competition, entry date is this date. And hopefully the community will start to see like, okay, if my instructor can do it, it's not such a distant goal anymore, and maybe I could do it one day. To open their field of vision.
That's great, such a vision. So and I really believe that one day you're going to have competition here in Kuala Lumpur, international one, and pole dancers from all over the world, not only Asia, will come and compete here.
That would be amazing.
Yeah, definitely.
I think it will take some time, like maybe if we have a Malaysia competition for every few years and slowly build the scene. And then I feel like at some point we are going to be ready to compete, for our students to feel like, okay, I'm ready to compete on an international level, and that's when we can really have a good international competition.
Such a mindset. I love that. I love the vision. And actually maybe not only competition, lots of people, they are not into competing, but still they have something to show. And they want to share their art. So maybe there will be a place for like a pole dance festival here.
Oh my gosh, yes, that would be so cool. I have been thinking about having like making more opportunities for people to showcase their own choreographies and freestyle. So yeah, actually for my birthday party, we had like a pole jam here and just like try to encourage people to freestyle. And I'm thinking maybe like in the future, like maybe 1 or 2 times a year, we have something like open mic nights but for pole dancing. So you can sign up beforehand, like I want to showcase my work. Maybe there's like a choreography section and there's a freestyle section of the show. I think that would be super cool. Yeah, it's just a plan in my head.
Definitely, wow! I don't want to leave. I don't want to leave
Oh
this
my
beautiful
gosh,
place.
stay! You can stay. We can adopt you. Yeah.
It's very sweet.
Or you can travel and always come back. You know, yeah, it can always be one of your stops.
Thank you very much. It was really a pleasure to meet you,
Likewise.
to teach in your studio, to see all your students, and especially yesterday it was such a night, and I feel really blessed to be immersed in this atmosphere, like to feel a part of it. It felt really great, and inspiration, motivation in your students' eyes, it's just something priceless, really. Good luck in your pole dance journey and building this community and really like creating a space, a safe space where everyone can express their art and really be themselves, and at the same time feeling that they are accepted and that they are all together. That's really, really precious. Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you for your time.
Thanks, Kate.